If I could have your attention, please, I'll call our meeting to order. This is the December meeting of the Woodford County Board of Homes and Appeals. Appreciate everyone coming out this rainy morning. We have a prepared agenda that's been advertised in front of the board. We have anyone on the agenda this morning with a case, and you'd like to have your case referred to another meeting or withdrawn in its entirety. And if we have none, our agenda will remain as published. We have a court reporter here with us this morning that's taking a record of our proceedings. The court reporter is provided at the expense of Wilson County. If you would like to have a copy of a particular transcript on a particular case, then that would be at your expense. And to obtain that transcript, you would need to see the court reporter at the end of our proceedings this morning. Just as a reminder to everyone, if you would please silence your cell phones. When I call each case, I'll read the case. We'll get Mr. Wallace to give us the staff recommendations that the board will be considering when we make our decision. And then after we've heard the case and heard the recommendations, we'll ask whoever represents that particular case to come forward. To the podium, please give us your name, address for the record. Welcome to tell the board anything you like about the case. And then after the applicant has had an opportunity to speak, and we'll hear from anyone who wishes to speak in support or in opposition. A reminder to everyone that the meeting this morning is being taped for later telecast on Woodford County Television on the YouTube platform. Now, if you do intend to make a statement in front of the board, you'll need to be sworn in. So at this time, if you do wish to speak, if you would please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in front of this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. Okay, thank you. And the state requires us to have a public comment period before each public meeting. This doesn't have anything to do necessarily with any of the cases we're hearing this morning. Each case will have its own separate public comment period. But if you have any general comment that you would like to make in front of this board as part of the required public comment period, we'll ask that you come forward at this time. And if there's no one who wishes to comment, we'll close the general comment period. Moving on through our agenda, to the members of our board, you were sent the minutes earlier this month from our November meeting, and you've had a chance to look over those. Do I have any corrections we need to make to our minutes from November? And if not, do I hear a motion we approve the minutes from November?
So moved.
I have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? If not, all in favor of adoption, vote aye. Aye. Opposed, vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay. First case in front of the board this morning is case 4363, Daniel Douglas. Variance from building material requirement for an accessory structure exceeding 22 feet in height. The proposed structure will be 33 feet in height and will match the exterior on the front facade only. The sides and rear will not match. The property is located at 550 Burnhouse Road, Lot 1, Stuart Knowles property. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4363.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance from the building material requirements for an accessory structure exceeding 22 feet in height. The proposed structure will be 33 feet in height and will match the exterior on the front facade only. The sides and rear will not match. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval. And this is, we waive the minimum height requirement if an accessory structure matches the primary roof pitch of the residence home and the building materials, and that is on all sides typically. So they're just asking to have the building material on the front of this structure as opposed to the entire structure. The roof pitch will match.
Okay. So the reason for the variance, just to be clear, is because we're not matching on all four sides.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Who's here to represent 4363 Douglas?
So Daniel Douglas, 550 Burnhouse Road.
Yes, sir. What would you like to tell us?
I think the request kind of speaks for itself. I would like to understand if granted, if we have to be completely matching on the front, or we can do a combination of a brick and a different material in the gable, or for accents, or just flexibility there.
It's classified as predominant building material, like I don't think it has to look exactly how your house is. But it would have to be the same materials in some form or fashion.
But does it have to be 100% the same material?
Does it have to run all the way up to the roof line in the gable? I thought was what he was asking.
Exactly.
I think the ordinance says it must match the prominent features.
Yes, sir.
I don't think that it said anything about being 100%.
What is the exterior of the house? Brick?
It's brick.
Brick, okay.
So does it matter what it looks like per Wilson County? Like, do you guys care? This seems
Well, it's not about what we, whoa, it's not about what we care about. It's what the ordinance says and what you made,
that, but
what you made application for.
that, and the fact that I'm asking you to allow me to deviate.
But what you applied for says that you will match the exterior on the front facade only. So it says here you'll match the house on the front facade.
Well, if you look at the plot map, or the map of the plot where I wrote down what it was, it just said exterior.
Yeah.
And I would assume,
Like,
if this is the garage or whatever, I'm assuming this is not brick on here, is it?
no, it's not. That's just a drawing
That's
of
not,
the
that's not
representation
actually
of what
this
we're
is not
trying.
actually what you're planning, okay.
That is that's what we're modeling.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to,
But if we wanted to do brick, for instance, around the lower area where up to the awning.
It seems, excuse me, it seems very ambiguous. I mean, what you're here for is saying, okay, I don't want to match all four sides, but I'll match the front with the house. Is that a correct statement?
It is a correct statement.
Okay.
Does 100% have to be the same material?
Well, is it a match if it's not 100%?
Is it going to impact anyone?
Not the issue. Not the issue.
I would assume the doors would not have to be brick. It would appear that a big part of the front of the building is doors, are they not?
Doors? I mean,
They would not have to be brick, correct?
awning,
I mean, obviously.
the awning material is going to be metal. That's going
Right,
to,
but I think the
I mean,
side of
I'm
it
not
needs
going to
to be
build
brick.
something that's not going to be aligned with a home. And if I did do something silly, what's interesting to me about this ordinance is I could brick the whole thing and paint it purple, and it would look terrible, right?
Yes.
It would look terrible. But it would
match-
fall within the realm of the
It
rule.
wouldn't match the finishes of the house then, would it?
But it doesn't say that. It says the material.
Okay.
Actually,
So,
it
anyway,
actually says primary residential structure. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, it doesn't talk about color. It doesn't talk about, so
Well, I'm just trying to understand what we're approving here. So
you're approving me to build a 2-story garage that's going to match my home architecturally, and it's going to be aligned with the house. Like,
But earlier, I thought you were varying from that.
no, that's never been the case.
So what is the material on the front of the house?
The material on the house is brick.
Is brick. And what will the material be on the front of the accessory building?
Most of it will be brick, unless I'm required to do all of it brick, then I guess I'll.
But this is not a rendering, a true rendering of the exterior elevation of your accessory building.
Correct. That is a plan that we found that we are modeling the structure after, or the design after.
Any other questions from the board?
Also, excuse me, go ahead. Also, we're talking about a variance of height, correct? That's part of the
No, not, if he matches the,
It wouldn't have to be.
he doesn't have to. And actually has to match all four sides of his accessory building with the house. And the question is, or the request is not to match all four sides, but just the side that faces the road. Correct? Or faces the front.
Correct.
Justin, do you have something?
Will we have a shingled roof on this as well?
Shingled roof, and then the awning will be metal for sure, aligned with, and the roof pitch will align with the house. I mean, it's gonna match the house, but I just want deviation on the materials because
Would they,
I can't even see my neighbors. In order for them to come visit,
I can't say enough how irrelevant that is to the,
Okay,
to the
but-
issue at hand.
but this is supposed to be a case-by-case review of whether or not the rule makes sense, right? To be imposed. And I'm not asking to
The
deviate.
rule is to match to the exterior of the accessory structure. The rule is all four sides. Match the exterior building material of the house. You're here asking for forgiveness on that. You're here asking not to follow the rule.
Yes.
Okay? So I think it's reasonable that we would want to understand how much of the rule you're not going to follow. If you said, the front of my accessory building will match with the building materials, the materials on my house, period, then, okay, then we know what we're considering. But I keep hearing things like, well, do I have to do it all, or can I just do part of it? And I don't know what you're really asking for at that point. When you start down that trail, I lose coherence with what the request is.
Okay. So I can't really give the designer the direction. I can just tell them all brick, and then I have to do all brick, and I have no deviation or ability to play with the design at all, right? It just has to be brick. But if you give me the variance, I mean, just give me the variance for the entire structure then. I'm going to do brick on, I'm not going to not match the house. Like, I don't really understand what difference it makes.
Give you you want us now to give you a variance on the whole thing? Is that what you just
in
said?
my experience, that will not happen,
Well,
in my experience.
but do you understand what I'm trying to do? Let me ask you that.
I can't say that I do, no.
Okay, that's a question.
Go ahead, Howard.
I got a question. I know this picture is not what
Right.
it looked like, it's similar, but by looking at this picture, were you talking about bricking? Which part of this or all of it are you talking about putting brick on?
Like, I mean, definitely up to here, right?
Because you got right here, you got about 2 or 3 feet of brick, looks like a rock.
Yeah, but that's like this is just,
So how far up do you plan on coming with brick?
I mean, up to the awning at a minimum, like, or the roof line.
Well, that's a difference, the awning or the roof line, that's a difference.
Why didn't you just develop an elevation of what you're planning to do and submit it?
How about that? I'll just brick the whole thing.
Yeah, that's,
I'll break
you
the
do
whole
what you want to,
We'll
but
brick the whole front.
you can apply for what you want to.
If that makes it easy, I'll brick the whole thing. And that's
The question in front of the board is, to allow you to do what the ordinance
Deviation.
says on one side.
except for the front. And the front-facing elevation will be matching the home.
Okay, so now we're back to what's actually in the request, right?
That's what's in front of us.
Right, and I again,
We have to go on what you're written.
I wrote what's on that sheet right there. So that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Does anyone else here wish to speak to this case? And does the board have any other questions for the applicant? Okay,
No, go ahead.
This is the one that came before the board last month
I know,
for a height variance.
I know.
And so then we let him come back before the board for a variance from the 3 sides and
Right.
just matching the front.
Got you. Remember all that. And I was tracking right along till we got to the point where we did want to do exactly what
We had no knowledge of that.
I understand, but that's where I got confused.
Okay.
All right? But now we're back to the original request. Okay? So I'll close the public hearing. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And I'll turn to the board. Do we need to have any further discussion, or is there a motion?
Just as discussion, I don't know who, I drove out there and looked at this property. I didn't go on the property, drove by it. Really nice house. It's in a very rural area. The houses are a long ways apart. I don't know. I guess they're on 11 acres, but anyway, it is in a very rural part of the county. If you look at the house where he's wanting to build, there's a big cedar tree thicket right beside of it. So in all honesty, to drive by it from the road, all you can see is the front. One side is next to his house. One side, I'm assuming, provided he didn't cut all the cedar trees out of the way, will be hid by the cedar tree thicket. And of course, the back of it, obviously, you can't see from the road. I'm just putting that in there for my 2 cents worth.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Looking at the structure, this isn't a pole barn. This is with a second floor in the garage and the roof angles and the eaves. This is more of a conventional framed.
It would appear so.
Yes, sir. With the shingled roof, kind of makes it outside of that barn look as well.
And I hate to drag, I do have one question for the applicant. What will be the grade, the elevation, the bottom elevation on this compared to your house? Because when I went out there, will the roof line of this be any taller than the roof line of your house?
No. The grade, like where the driveway
Right,
will meet it.
Yes.
Be the same driveway going in.
because there was a grade going uphill, and I wanted to understand where the path, how that would be designed.
We have to get it worked on.
Okay. Do we have a motion on 4363? Need a motion, folks.
Mr. Chairman, I'll throw something out there. I don't know if it'll swim or sink, but anyway, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the variance. And do I need to clarify exactly what is being asked for?
I think the application is written,
Okay. I don't want to muddy it up anymore.
I think it got muddy, but if we go back to the original application, I think we're good.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve that. I will base that on the fact that it is in a very rural area. It's an 11-acre lot. I don't know if we could throw in the fact that there's a lot of natural landscaping on the sides with the cedar trees, but that'll be my motion for what it's worth.
Okay, we have a motion. Does he have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you all for coming. I need to recess just for about 10 seconds. Barry?
Yes.
I'm serious. Okay, we're back. In regard to case, let me see.
4364.
I got 64, but I've got 60. What did I? Let me check my paperwork. Here we go. I picked up one too many. Now I'm back on track. Case 4364, Randy Adams, requesting a short-term rental. Am I missing something here? This doesn't seem to be written like we normally have them.
No, it's changed.
It's changed.
Format's changed.
The format's changed, okay. So we don't have a,
It's still got all the information, but the format's changed.
okay. So Randy Adams, short-term rental, location 2674 Quarry Road, Lot 1, Melvin property. It's mapped 71 on parcel 68, zoned R1 residential. So where's my description of what the request is?
His request is for a short-term rental.
That's all we're going to say.
That's normally, even in the other format, it states that the applicant is requesting a short-term rental.
Okay. Go ahead with your recommendation, please.
The applicant is requesting to use the property for a short-term rental. Staff members have received a business plan stating how the applicant considers using the property. If the short-term use is granted, staff recommends the business plan be made part of the approval and put the applicant on notice that if there are any changes to the structure or expansion to the use of the property, the applicant must appear before the board with a revised plot plan and business plan for approval. The business plan specifies the applicant will be the caretaker, but does not state if they live on site. If the board approves the request, the applicant must provide contact information to WEMA, the Wilson County Zoning Office, and the County Sheriff's Office. The applicant is requesting a limit of 6 guests per stay per the business plan. Typically, the board will allow 2 guests per bedroom. Septic records have been provided, and the home operates off of a 3-bedroom perk, meaning the maximum number of guests will be limited to 6, fitting the applicant's request if we stick with our current application process. Airbnb short-term rentals are used permissible upon appeal in the R1 zone district with a minimum acreage requirement of 2 acres. This tract is 18.23 acres. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff can recommend approval of the short-term rental use. If the use is approved, the board has typically approved a first-time request for a period of 1 year. This is the first time this property has been before you for this request.
Okay. Name and address, please, sir.
Randy Adams, 2674 Quarry Road, Mount Juliet.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
I just wanted to be able to do Airbnb at my house.
Do you live here? Mm-hmm. But are you going to continue to live here when it's a short-term rental? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how many guests, how many guests do you plan on having?
Well, it said I could have 6, so I put 6 down.
But you live there. So
Yeah.
you have to subtract that number.
Right, that's what I was confused with. Like, if I'm living there, how can but if I'm not going to be there, there's a friend that I stay with too. So I thought, well, they said just go ahead and put down 6, and if you're over at your friends, I mean, I'm not going to have more than 5 people when I'm there. So, and even then, I really just want to do 1 person per bedroom, but because I want to get it approved in case I want to expand to have more people, up to the maximum, I put down the 6. But I understand that because if it's a 3-bedroom septic, that if I'm there, I'm just going to have 5.
So you realize the total load on the septic can only be 6 people?
6 people.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how we would determine how many people to approve you for if we, don't know whether you're going to be there or you're not, because the record will have to reflect some number of people that are approved for the short-term rental.
Right, yeah. I don't know how to do that either.
Yeah, we'll work on that. All right. Does the board have questions for the applicant? Go ahead.
Well, basically, it's 2 people per bedroom.
Right,
Now, if you're going to be there,
yeah.
that means you're only going to have 4, 2 per bedroom, because you got 2 bedrooms left to rent out.
That's true.
Well,
that's
technically
the way it
that's
is.
right, yeah. Now, there is one thing about this house, though, is when I bought it, they converted something, or I don't know how they did it, because you can't tell, but it's got 4 bedrooms in it. So, and the 1 bedroom there's standard 3 bedrooms, a master and 2 others. And then this other bedroom's really big. So I thought, well, I don't know how it works with the maximum number with the septic and all that. So I thought, well, if I had 5, I could have 2, 2, and 1 in those, and I can stay in that other bedroom. I mean, it's a full-size bedroom. So that's kind of how I was looking at it.
Probably the first time anybody ever worked around the law when they added that. I bet that's never happened before.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that, but it happened.
Yeah.
According to the septic survey here, it's for 3-bedroom.
Right. Yeah.
So Mr. Blade's correct. If you got 3 bedrooms that are official bedrooms,
Yeah.
irregardless of whatever else,
Yeah. Whatever that other
and
room.
you're going to stay in one of them sometime,
Yeah.
then you're going to be limited, it would look like, logically, to 4 guests.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions from the board?
Is the old existing house still livable?
This is the house. I mean, I only have 1.
Let me pass this down. This may not have gotten down
It
there.
shows 2 houses here. It shows an old existing house and then and it may be torn down.
Yeah, I don't even.
Okay.
That's an old septic.
Well, it says old existing house.
Yeah, but that
But it's not
septic.
there.
Yeah, that septic is back
Okay.
in 81, so the house.
Aerial, I think, is correct.
Okay,
There's just one house.
okay, fair enough.
I didn't know there was two at one time, huh?
Okay. So the aerial's correct. There's one house there, I believe. Any other questions for the applicant? If not, does anyone else here wish to address 4364 Adams, short-term rental? If not, thank you, sir. We'll close the public hearing. Appreciate that.
Okay.
And turning to the board for 4364 Adams and short-term rental. Any further discussion?
I've got a point, Chair, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
If you're looking at it as the maximum for the 6 and he's got a residence house that he's going to stay at, as long as it's within the time frame and he's willing to submit that address that he is staying at off-site and it's within the 10 miles, you can make that part of it, but we would need that address and contact information for that resident.
I don't understand. You're going to have to speak up and make that more clear to me.
If he's going to use the maximum, which would be the 6 people, and he's not on site, and he's got a residence that he's going to stay at, we would need that information for the record of where he is staying.
As your caretaker?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I got that part.
Still being the caretaker, we need to make sure where he is staying is with,
But that would be part of his caretaker package submittal.
right, and we don't have that information of the friend's house.
Yeah, I've got that down here on my notes. But as far as the maximum number of guests, since we don't have any way to know or control when he's going to be there and when he's not,
Correct.
then we have to assume that if he's going to be there sometime, he's going to be there all the time.
That is true, yes, sir.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, in regard to case 4364,
Talking about, Christopher, do we need to ask the applicant on record if when he stays with a friend, if it's within 10 miles, do we need that on record here?
You can ask him on record here. I mean, if that's going to be part of your motion, he's going to have to submit that documentation of where he's staying.
normally when we make the motion, we include the staff recommendations, and all that package of what he has to submit
fine.
is part of that. So, he has to, whether it's him or
Right, somebody's got to meet the criteria.
somebody's got to meet the criteria. All right, in regard to 4364, do I hear a motion? I will move to approve 4364 with the following stipulations. The maximum number of guests shall be 4. The period of this approval shall be for 1 year. And all of the staff recommendations, including the requirements of the zoning ordinance for short-term rental, must be complied with. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and I have a second now. Any discussion on the motion?
Who's second? Carrie.
Justin, I think. No? Kerry?
Carrie.
Any discussion? All in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. The ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Our next case is case 4365, David Boyd. Variance of 19 feet from the required front yard setback requirement of 30 feet. The plat will be amended to reflect a reduction in the front setback from 40 feet to 30 feet. A stop work order has been posted on the carport from the building inspector's office. If the variance is approved, the existing carport will be located 11 feet from the front property line. We get staff recommend, property location is 296 Riverview Road, Lot 1, Walker property, map 28, parcel 20, zoned A1 agricultural, contains 1.02 acres, with staff recommendations now on 4365.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 19 feet from the required front yard setback of 30 feet for a carport that has been placed on the site. A plat has been submitted for the property, and the applicant is working with the building inspections office to get the structure permit. The plat has been submitted because the original plat that was recorded in 61 shows a 40-foot setback requirement on this lot. The minimum requirement is what they're amending the plat to, which is 30 feet, and that's what the variance request is for. So the variance request will be tied to the plat getting approved, and it's just an affirmation. We have reviewed that plat. We are waiting for corrections back, but the Plat does meet the minimum requirement. This is an older tract of record, with the lot being created in November of 1961. However, because this is a front yard setback, staff cannot recommend approval of the setback variance. Even on older lot of records, the board has historically tried to steer away from front yard setback variances unless it's a pre-existing structure that was built prior to zoning being adopted, and in that instance, it's for the existing structure. We don't typically allow encroachments farther onto front yard setbacks, even on older tracts of record.
Okay, who's here to represent 4365? Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name's Chad Bernard. I'm a commissioner out there at District 4, and Mr. Boyd had called me about it, concerned, and I talked to Ms. Murphy, and I think between the two, they both worked, and Karen said he had all the paperwork, and I'm just hoping we can get this approved for him.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions, let me know. Thank you.
All right, who else wants to speak? Anyone? You don't have to, it's not a requirement. All right. And does the board have any questions? Any further questions? And this is just for the front yard.
Yes.
And y'all help me understand again exactly what this is for the carport?
Yes, it's for carport.
There's a carport that was placed on the property, which is an encroachment on the front yard setback. It did not have a permit pulled, so it came in on a stop work order, and that's why they're before you today. All the existing structures that are on the property, they meet setbacks.
Okay.
I've got a map here I'm looking.
Okay?
Is the carport here on the far right-hand side?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That's true.
But I wasn't aware of this old lot of record front setback line prohibition. I thought if you had an old lot of record, you have some significant forgiveness.
There is significant forgiveness, and I think the board has granted some in the past, but as far as like staff recommendations, even for front yard setbacks, I've been consistent and I've not recommended approval of those for front yard setbacks unless the structure is existing. There was one, I don't remember the road, it was an older lake lot, but they were doing an addition onto the home, and they ended up granting a front yard setback for what the existing structure was, and they were doing a complete tear down, but we didn't allow them to encroach any farther.
Is that, the prohibition against front yard setbacks on the older lots, is that a internal policy or is that in the ordinance?
No, that would just be an internal policy, I guess. I mean, I'm enforcing the ordinance as it is. It's just there's not been forgiveness on older lots of records.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand. All right. If no one else wishes to address 4365, then we'll close public comment. And if we don't need to have any further discussion, and if not, in regard to the 4365, I'll move we approve the requested variance since this is an older lot of record and there is no prohibition in the ordinance against a front yard setback variance for an older lot of record. So that's my motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion, have a second. Now, discussion from the board. If there's no discussion, all in favor of the motion vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. The ayes have it. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Our next case is case 4366, Affordable Building Concepts, requesting a variance of 9 feet from the requirement from side yard east, variance of 9 feet from the requirement from the east side yard setback of 10 feet and a variance of 2 feet from the front yard setback requirement of 40 feet on Saundersville Ferry Road. Existing shed is 1 foot from the east side yard property line, and other existing shed is 38 feet from the front property line on Saundersville Road. Variances are also needed in order to make an addition to the existing house that will meet all setback requirements. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4366.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 9 feet from the requirement from the east side yard setback requirement of 10 feet and a variance of 2 feet from the front yard setback requirement of 40 feet on Saundersville Road. Both structures requiring variances are existing. The structure needing the 2-foot front yard setback requirement from Saundersville Road was placed without a permit. The proposed addition to the home will meet all setback requirements. This is not an older tract of record with the lot being created in September of 1976. Therefore, given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval.
Okay, who's here to represent 4366 Affordable Building? You see that, Howard? Name and address, please.
Good morning. I am Courtney Kowalski at 533 Westport Drive. And this is my husband, Justin Kowalski, also at 533 Westport Drive.
Anything you'd like to tell the board?
Yes, we purchased the home where the shed in the back was already existing, and I looked back on Google Map records, and one that I could pull up is that it's been at least there since 2013. I have picture proof of that. We bought the house with the intention of me using that space in order to run my business out of that space, and I'm able to be home with my child, and I have one on the way. So we would like to keep that space because I'm currently using it. It's not really movable because the people before us have attached a deck to the structure. So it's something that we would have to completely destroy. And I think that's about it. We're doing a home addition because I do have another one on the way, and would like to get that started as soon as possible.
So this is a couple of variances.
It's 2 variances for 2 different structures. The structure that she's speaking of is the 9-foot variance from the east side yard setback. The other structure, which is on the west side of the property, is the one from Saundersville Ferry Road, and it is a smaller, I believe it's a roll-off shed.
And what variance should the second one need?
It needs a 2-foot front yard setback variance. It's 38 feet from Saundersville Ferry Road, and Saundersville Ferry has a 40-foot yard setback requirement.
It's not a permanent structure, it's a roll-off?
The structure on Saundersville Ferry is much less permanent than
Yes.
the other one. Yes, sir.
Other shed is the one that's a foot from the property line.
Yes, sir.
And it's been there for a period?
I mean, you've got testimony that's been there since 2013, but yeah,
I have photographic evidence of it. I think it's been there for over 30 years.
we don't have a record for that structure, so it doesn't go that far back, but I know the roll-off does not have a permit.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell the board?
If we really need to move that shed in the far back with the one that needs 2 feet, we don't mind moving that one. It's just that we really would like to keep the one that's more of a permanent structure in order to do the home addition, please.
The board have questions for the applicant?
The fact that this is a corner lot, it has no bearing on any of this? This is a corner lot, right, or no?
It is.
Yeah,
But that has no bearing on any of this?
I mean, they could do a plat amendment to get the setbacks changed for the primary, for the corner lot, if they designate which one is their front, which one is their side. When you do that, it's typically half of what it is, so that would bring the front yard setback on Saundersville Ferry down to 20 feet. But they would have to go through the plat amendment process to actually abide by that. But yeah, they would get forgiveness if they wanted to amend the plat. Yes, sir.
Understand all that?
No, not entirely, but run that by us again a little slower. You got at least two down here.
Yeah. We have a clause for corner lots. It's a corner lot provision in our zoning ordinance. If you designate a front yard, which is the road that your house must face if you do this, we will give you forgiveness on what is considered the side/front yard, the other yard fronting the street. It can be half. It's 1.5 times the requirement. So the requirement would be of the typical side yard. So if the side yard this is an R1 zone property, it would be 15 feet. So that would be 22.5 feet typically is what they would be allowed to make that front yard setback on Saundersville Ferry.
Okay, now I got you.
Yep.
And that's with a revised plat.
They would have to revise the plat.
There's one building that's a foot off the property line.
No, it would not have any bearing on that. No, sir.
Well, you know, I can work with and get past some of this other, but this 1 foot off the property line is that's a pretty major deal to me. These homes in this particular area have been built for some time, haven't they?
They have, yes, sir. I did not pull the permit on the original home, but the lot was done in '76. I'm assuming the home was shortly after.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
what is your thought on this one that's 1 foot out was there when they bought it? What, would you say 2010? You have
We bought it in 2021. 2021, but it has been there. I have photographic evidence of it being there since at least 2013. I think it's been there much longer.
To answer your question, I'm trying to have a thought.
But they bought into this, man.
They bought into it, but that's
We didn't know about it.
relevant.
Yeah.
And that's, actually, it's not relevant at all. But, I mean, that's, you know, a foot off the property line is really close. And the required setback on this plat's 15 feet.
From my understanding, it used to be 5.
The required setback on the plat is 15 feet. That's for the primary structure, so it would have been an accessory structure. So at the time it was built, even in 2013, the requirement was 5 feet. That changed in 2016.
So
at the time,
documented that it was built, which may have been older, but at the time you documented it, the requirement would have been 5 feet.
yes, sir, that requirement changed in 2016. So if we know it was there prior to that, it would still needed a 4-foot variance.
Well, I don't know about everybody else. That makes me feel a little better. Okay. If y'all don't have any questions for the applicant any further, and is anyone else wish to speak to this case? 4366. All right. We'll close public comment.
Thank you so much.
And turning to the board in regard to 4366, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve variance of 9 feet from the requirement of the east side yard setback and 2 feet from the front yard setback.
Have a motion to grant the 9-foot setback and the 2-foot setback. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Now discussion. Let me offer just a comment amendment that at the time we know this was built or before, the actual side yard setback was 5 foot, not anything that might be in play now. So I just like to add that as a statement.
That's fine.
All right. Justin, you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? And if not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. And thank y'all for coming. Okay, our next case. Case 4367. Lee Smith and Associates on behalf of Hartsville Development, LLC. Variance request of 25 lots from the requirement of 50 lots for a gated community. If the variance is approved, there will be 75 lots. The property location is 3495 Hartsville Pike, map 44, parcel 47, Farrell property, zoned R1 residential, containing 170.59 acres. We get staff recommendations now on 4367.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 25 lots from the requirement of 50 lots for a gated community. The proposed subdivision has 75 lots in total, 72 of which are considered buildable single-family tracts. The other 3 are open space lots that will be maintained by the HOA. And this plat will be heard at the Planning Commission on Friday, December 19th. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval. We have a gated community maximum of 50 lots.
Well, this variance is to increase the gated community size from 50 to 75.
Yes, sir.
All right, who's here to represent 4367 Lee Smith and Associates?
My name's Hayden DeBerry. I'm with Eli Smith and Associates on behalf of Hartsville Development, LLC. We're out of Paris, Tennessee. That address is 302 North Caldwell Street of Paris, Tennessee.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
We are, of course, as you know, we're seeking to have more than 50 lots in a gated community. The developer, he's wanting to live in this community himself, him and his family, and he, of course, would like that some privacy there and have that gated. I know that there's a potential problem with access to the highway, and so we have been talking with TDOT, and at their recommendation, and we will be proposing this as well, is to have a turning lane coming southbound into Lebanon. So it'll be a left turn lane coming into the development and a deceleration lane going northbound outside of Lebanon to keep the highway traffic flowing and safer.
Let me ask you a question. What's your basis? You come to this board. This is not the planning commission. This is a different type board. You need a basis for a variance. What's your basis?
He would like to have a gate in the.
So this is, I want to do it variance.
More or less.
And from 50 to 75, there's no other reason other than he just wants to. Or somebody wants to.
Right. Yeah, he would like to have a gated community there to provide some.
I don't think there's any question he can have his gated community, correct? I mean, you can have a gated community.
Yeah, no, you can have
The
one.
question is there a basis for increasing the number of lots?
They just wanting to maximize the amount of lots that he could, sellable lots for the development.
I got you. Christopher, if it was not gated, would there be a limit?
On lots? Well, I mean, it would be, yes, due to the density of the property, but,
He would be well under that density, would he not?
yes, sir. I mean, it's a 143 acre tract. I mean, maybe it's 170. The allowable density on this tract alone, if he were to develop it to the maximum, I believe is 140, maybe it's 143 lots.
What if they developed it under the new PUD ordinance that was approved this week? What would be the maximum density under that? Right, you don't have to get into it too. Would this not be eligible for PUD being an R1 zone lot?
Every property in the county would be eligible for a PUD. It's a rezoning process. Anybody can request a PUD.
But it had to be,
I mean, it has to be 30 acres, but
it had to be zoned R1 to be eligible for a PUD.
no, you would request to be zoned to an R1 PUD. You don't have to previously be.
It's part of the process is what he's saying.
Anybody can.
An A1 piece of property is march forward and say, I want to do a PUD right now.
Right, you'd have to get it rezoned to R1 first, correct? Okay.
Well, it would all be done hand in hand. It's the PUD is like an overlay district on existing zoning. You don't have to have that zoning to then do the PUD.
Share with us,
That's a
if you would,
different animal.
if you're aware of what the logic is behind the 50 lot restriction.
At the time that it was written, which this is way before I ever got with the county, I believe it was 50 lots was what they felt that a neighborhood could substantially maintain on their own accord.
Because everything inside the gate.
Everything behind the gate is going to be private, and it has to be maintained by the ownership. Once you get into these larger developments that are gated, yes, you have more people doing it, but you've also got more infrastructure issues that could come around.
So they would have to keep up their own roads.
If there's any
Street lights or whatever they do, it's all theirs.
everything would be maintained privately. And I think part of the reasoning was, and I don't think this would ever happen, like if the road or any of the infrastructure became so dilapidated that they pitched to the county to take us over and we want to be part of the county, we'll take our gate down. It's not a substantial amount of infrastructure that could not be brought up to spec if the county had a moment of weakness and wanted to take it back over. It's not like you're taking in miles of infrastructure. It would just be one small community. I think that's some of the reasoning behind it. I'm speculating a little bit, but based off the back knowledge of how it got written, I think that's some of it.
Understand. Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Question. So my understanding is that actually the person's got a bunch of land. He wants to maximize the land he's got.
Excuse me, hold on, wait a minute. Maybe you have to close that. We don't allow that in here. outside the courthouse only. Go ahead, Howard.
The owner of the land wants to maximize the amount of houses on it, not the reason why he wants 75. That's what we're basically saying.
Well, we,
Otherwise, you have a piece of land left over somewhere.
right. Yeah, so the zoning, it states that we have a minimum of 20,000 square foot lots. And so we have designed this to have a minimum of 40,000 square foot lots. And majority of them, due to a lot of it being flood zone and floodway, of course that, that's not usable, but for building purposes. But most of these are well exceeding 40,000, which, it exceeds the 20,000 square foot minimum.
I thought the minimum lot size in R1 was 40,000 square foot.
Okay, so the property is 170.59 acres. He's got 75 lots proposed. If he were to develop it to its full potential based off a 40,000 square foot minimum lot size for R1, he would be allowed 139 lots.
The minimum lot size in R1 is 40,000, not 20,000.
That is correct. Density is calculated off of that. Once you get to 50 lots, you can utilize a cluster provision if you want to go smaller than 40,000 square foot lots. This applicant is not utilizing that. He's doing straight zoned R1, and he's avoiding the critical lot features of this particular lot, and 72 single-family homes is all he's going to be able to
He
get.
could also try to use, he could, but he's not trying to use a PUD ordinance, and he would probably be able to get 300 lots on this. 250.
175. It'd be closer to 250. Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
So he's, he is staying well under what could be, what he could be asking for. I'm not saying he would get it, but they could ask for a whole lot more. Oh, my only point.
Yes, and my understanding of the we're doing what ifs at this point, but I believe there's private deed restrictions in the sale of this property that the owner would not allow them to develop anything under 40,000 square foot lots. Now, those are private deed restrictions. We don't enforce those, but I think that is stemming some of the development on this.
Okay.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Howard.
Yeah, it may be for Chris, but on something like this, is there a study that's been made for the infrastructure? Whether, it's not for us to say, but if it's 50 lots is one thing, but an additional 25 for the infrastructure of the road and so forth, is that ever looked at?
I don't know if I'm 100% following. Are you talking about like the cost of the infrastructure compared to 50 to 75 lots?
I'm talking about the traffic, the infrastructure, the road itself. Will it handle additional 25 costs?
Hartsville Pike, absolutely, yeah. And we didn't require a traffic impact study with this development because it's a state route, so we don't have the design. But working with our TDOT rep, they are going to enforce our minimum standards for developments over 50 lots, which is a center turn lane and a decel lane. And Hartsville Pike is on the slate to be widened to 5 lanes as it already is in portions. Eventually, that entire corridor will be 5 lanes, but.
Any other questions for the applicant or for the board?
Comment.
Go ahead.
And I don't know that anybody really, I haven't heard why it was 50 lots. But if you look at the ordinance itself, and you're asking for a 50% increase or a variance, which is a lot. We normally don't do anything where it's 50%. So I feel like if we just take the variance for what it says, not what we think somebody intended, we're almost making it look like we approved that the variance does not exist. The rules were non-existent. We're just kind of ignore them because that's a huge increase, 50%.
If there are no other questions for the applicant, I'm going to call for other folks to speak, so appreciate your comments. Yeah. Anyone else wish to address 4367? I notice on your plans here it's L.I. Smith. In my document, it's L and an I like Lee, but it's L.I. Smith and Associates. So anyone else wish to speak? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
My name's Mia Bowling. I'm at 3284 Hartsville Pike, which is directly right across the road from this. The gate, is it one gate? Is it only one way in, one way out? That heard that discussed. And of course, I'm speaking on my husband should do this, but he'd say you can do it as well. But
Yes, it's one way in, one way
Safety
out.
is his, first priority. And if those of you who have been up and down Hartsville Pike recently, we are right at where if you're going north from town to Hartsville, the 4 lanes end right at our driveway and goes right into into 2 lanes. It's like a racetrack out there right now. I pull in my driveway, I have to cross over the southbound traffic lane. We're scared all the time because they don't slow down. People do not slow down. They already go over into the side and go around us. So they're talking about adding an extra lane, which is already being used anyway, for people to turn into this gate. And I don't know where this gate is going to be, or what kind of fencing is even going to be around this property. But my hopes that you would not approve this. I don't know how many homes, and listening to you all, I'm assuming, this is all new to us, that this gated community would be just the 75 or the 50 homes, not realizing you can put more homes on these pieces of property. This is a lot of traffic, a lot of folks out here. But I do hope that, we would deny this variance.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wish to address 4367? Yes, ma'am.
Ann Jacqueline, 2157 Hartsville Pike. I'm on the curve south of this. I have a farm. I'm pulling trailers in and out. The curve and the visibility and the speed on that road where it stands, it is a drag strip. They come off the 2-lane, they hit that widening 4-lane, and they stand on it. It's not safe as it is. My other concern is regarding Spring Creek and the flood zone areas. What is this development's plan for handling their septic? Is this going to be sewer? Is this going to be lagoon? And if so, what is the capacity of that regarding the wet times of year that we get, especially through the spring, as it pertains to Spring Creek and downstream of that development?
You. Anyone else here wish to address 4367?
James Marks, 273 Signature Place. I represent Spring Creek Farms LP. I own the farm directly across the street from this, and I am 100% in agreement with them. And I think you should pass it.
With them?
With the developer.
Okay, got you. All right, thank you. Just for the record, if there's no one else who wishes to speak, Mr. Lawless, help me here. This is R1 zoning.
Yes, sir.
They can build their 50-lot residential community as a use by right with planning commission approval.
They can build a 50-lot gated community, yes.
This request is to go to 75. But if, as Mr. Neal said earlier, if they didn't have a gated community, then there would be considerably more lots that would be allowed on this tract, potentially.
If you match
What?
straight R1 zoning, they could get a whole lot more tracks out of here and did a cluster development and stayed out of the wetlands.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yes. I mean, you're,
lots at hand. I understand there's private zoning, but
yeah,
private zoning-
you're,
private restrictions can be changed.
the 75 lots that they're asking for are not, they're not being limited by the fact that they want a gated community. They're asking for a gated community for the 75 lots they're proposing on the tract. Is the tract allowed for more density than they're proposing? Yes. And are there other routes that they can get that? Yes. But the gated aspect of that is not what's limiting them to that. It's just that's what they've proposed for the tract.
That's what I would like to explain to the residents that are here. You know, whether all this board is determining whether or not they put a gate up.
Okay, so
We're not determining anything about whether or not they're going to put 75 houses over there, 75 lots.
right, you're determining how many lots you would allow them to have behind a gate.
They may very well put another entrance and have 2 gates. I don't know if that's an option or not, to have 2 separate communities.
I don't think, it'd have to be a separate community.
Right, to have
Yeah.
2 separate communities with 2 gates. Then there's always the option.
Yeah, that'd be a
The next
mess.
developer may buy it and try to put 150 houses on it.
Like I don't want you to get caught up on the lot count. What you're approving is you're allowing this tract, if you approve it, to have 75 lots behind a gate.
I think we're hung up on the.
Yeah.
I just think that we were trying to make the statement that another proposal without the gate, this tract might become more deeply enveloped.
It could. Okay, so straight 1R zone, if they wanted to utilize their cluster requirements to the maximum, they could have 139 lots on this. Say you all approve the gate for 75 lots. They could come in, they haven't, but they could withdraw their application for this month, come in next month, and submit a plan with the 139 lots and still utilize the 75 lots behind a gate if they wanted to design the community in that aspect.
So this site plan is not, if we approve the gated, they can throw all this all the way out and redraw a whole bunch more lots? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, what?
How do they draw more lots?
Because you're not approving a site plan, you're approving how many lots this tract of land would be allowed to have behind a gate. Yes, they have submitted 75 lots, but you're not holding them to the 75 lot development plan. If they want to,
Commission holding with this tomorrow?
yeah, if the planning commission approves it, yes. Behind the gate, yes.
We don't need to build on the gate until after planning commission rules.
I think for that to be considered,
Yeah, planning commission won't rule on 75 lots behind a gate until they know they have approved variance for 75 lots behind a gate.
we're saying there's other potential out there in addition to the 75 lot plan.
BOZA does not have the authority to lock down a tract on how many lots can be developed. You do have the authority on how many lots on any given tract can be behind a gate, and that's what they're requesting.
Got it.
Now, if they pulled the request and wanted to redesign it, that is their purview at that point.
Let me ask the question.
Yes, sir.
I know I passed this place for 40 years.
Okay.
Are they using all these 75 lots? Is that all the usable land that they can develop?
Other discussion.
It is.
Can we get the applicant up here?
There is the lots that they have drawn on their existing plan that's going tomorrow. All of the building envelopes for all of those tracts are outside of the floodplain. So as far as usable land that does not have to go through substantial hoops for development, they are using it all. Yes.
No, so the only way they can get more is to do this other.
There would be.
And decrease the lot sizes.
Well, they're entitled to 139 right now as a use by right.
And they have that much usable land.
It's undesirable land. To say that they can't put a home on it, you can build in a floodplain if you're willing to jump through the hoops and do the minimum pad elevations and critical lot plans. You cannot build in a floodway. This property does have substantial floodway on it as well, but you can build in a floodplain. We would strongly recommend against that if a developer came in with that. There are a lot of additional requirements those future homeowners would have to go through.
Is not this property the exact property when they approved the new PUD ordinance, which, is this not exactly what it's about? You put all your houses over here on your good ground and you stay off all your wet ground? I mean, is that exactly what that's about, word for word almost?
Yeah, I mean, that's the intent of the PUD, yes.
You act like 75 lots is all they can get out of here. I'm just telling you, the next developer comes down the road here, I don't know about the private restrictions, they may be up here wanting 250 lots in an R1 PUD. And you were all in favor of the new PUD ordinance. It got approved Monday night.
Well, all that may be true, but you're
I'm just
talking
saying,
a whole lot of what if and may happen. And the request in front of this board, if I could bring us back to center here a little bit, is do we allow a gated community that's limited to 50 lots to increase the number of lots behind the gate to 75? That's all that's in front of us.
What is our history on that?
You've
About a year ago, out on Cooks Road, a developer wanted to do a gated and a sidewalk variance, and we did not approve that based on school bus traffic, emergency traffic, and recommendation from the road commission on.
We were afraid that if we had to take it over, we would be in the sidewalk business and a lot of other things that we don't normally want to.
Because one requirement of a gated community, they are required to have sidewalks on both sides of the road. All utilities will also be underground in a gated community. I mean, there's substantial requirements of a gated community.
So in a way, and again, I don't want to get away from the variances on the table, but in a way, we set ourselves up because we don't want to take it over because it'd be expensive, but then we make them put in the most expensive utility and infrastructure works.
That is true. Yes, sir.
Howard, you had something? Excuse me.
I got something, yeah. Chris, what issue is before the planning commission tomorrow concerning this?
They have a proposal for a gated community to be approved by planning commission for 72 single-family homes. There's 75 lots in this development. 3 of them are unbuildable. So it's an approval for 72 additional single-family lots of 40,000 square foot lots or greater, all behind a gate, pending the decision of this board.
Well, what I'm reading in the ordinance here is, it says the shape of the tract to otherwise and other characteristics dictates more lots and is approved by the planning commission. What I'm reading here, we're not allowed to increase it. That's the planning commission's position and job to do, not ours.
We've always, we talked about this yesterday in my office on that. The planning commission, if we just leave that to the planning commission, since it's listed in the zoning ordinance as 50 lots or more, when the first time a variance for a gated community came through, they kicked it back to you. They wanted your all's decision on the matter. And so since then, we've always brought it to you for your guidance on that, and the planning commission is waiting for that decision. It has been approved one time in the history of the county.
So just to clarify just a little bit what Perry had brought up a while ago, we have different options in the zoning ordinance and the subdivision regs to how you can move through a path to development.
Yes, sir.
We tell people what they can do, what they can't do. We don't tell them which path they can take.
That is true. We do not.
So they might go the gated community path. They might go the cluster path. They might go the
PUD
thing that was approved the other night.
Yes, sir.
PUD. All those are different paths of development that we're telling people what they have to do. But what we're not telling them is which path you can take.
That is true. We do not tell applicants. We tell them the densities that they're allowed, and they dictate the path that they want to take.
That was my statement to the audience here is I think roughly, the path that developers are going is probably an extremely low density. I just want to make that clear. It's extremely low over what a lot of developers would be doing in these circumstances. I don't want to make sure the audience understood that.
I think I don't want you all to get confused that you all are approving either a 75 lot gated community or a 139 lot ungated community. You're not approving that. You're strictly just approving how many lots on this tract of land can be behind a gate.
I mean, there's nobody that's been more outspoken in the last year about growth and development and all that than what I have. And I've argued we need responsible growth. That's responsible growth and slow it down a little bit. To me, putting 75 houses on a piece of property, the next developer might put 250 houses. I consider that to be a little more responsible and a little more, not that that's in front of us today. I'm just talking about my opinion in general. I see that as a better development. I'm assuming this would be in the urban growth boundary, and it's probably pretty close to the city limits.
This is not in the urban growth boundary.
But anyway, that was just my thought.
And that may be true.
That's just my opinion. That's got nothing to do with it.
But you have the infrastructure, change it to 250. We don't know. I know they've got some kind of septic system they're going to, and then the clean water's going to go down there in the floodplain and all that kind of stuff. So we don't know that could support 250. I think we need to look at the ordinance, what it says, either decide, okay, we're just going to ignore 50% of it, or we're going to.
Well, that's
we can't assume that we say no, that they're going to build 250 homes.
No,
they wrote the ordinance.
I'm not assuming that.
They
we don't know that
can for a reason.
Hold that. Do what?
They wrote the ordinance. It's written for a reason.
Right.
And it says 50.
Right.
And I haven't heard anything here that says that, that as far as the ordinance is written, that, increasing that would be in compliance with the intent of the ordinance. Now, is it a better, more responsible development? You can argue that,
right.
But that's not the question.
Right, I understand that's not the question. They can make the same 75 lots and it not be gated.
And I think that's the problem we get into as a community. I think a lot of this growth stuff has been done let's do a little change over here and a little change over there. And when we don't look at things globally, I think that's the problem we might get into, is something like this, which might be a good idea, but since it's only one piece of a very large pie, we go to the next one that comes up here may be a very bad idea. So
I
anyway,
think Ms. Murphy had a comment. Mike.
yes, go ahead, please.
Did you want to comment? No? Okay.
I'm ready to vote.
All right, we're going to close the public hearing. We've had a lot of discussion. Do we need to have any more?
Well, I've got, Ms. Murphy, have we ever approved a gated community before?
There's one on Horn Springs.
Christopher, if my memory serves me correct, there is a gated community on Horn Springs Road. It's called Reserve of Horn Springs, and they came here before the board for more than the 50, and that was approved. Now, it's a different location, different property, but yeah.
How many?
69.
Would have, how much?
69.
59.
69. So it's 19. And that property was developed to its maximum potential. I mean, I don't know if that, the way you've all discussed, I don't know if that, but that's how many lots that property was allowed.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's ask for a motion in regard to 43. Yes, sir.
I make a motion, we deny based on staff recommendation.
Have a motion to deny 4367 based on staff recommendations. Does he have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. If none, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no.
No.
Show of hands, all in favor vote aye. 3-4. Opposition vote no. 2 opposed. The motion to deny is passed. The request is denied. Okay, Mr. Lawless, do you have anything else for us today?
I do not have any additional information for you all. If I don't see you all again before Christmas, you all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. We're adjourned.